The iPhone 13 Pro Max has been out for about a year now, and around this time many people wondered if it's still worth it. When it came out, it was definitely a powerhouse with an even better battery life than the iPhone 12 Pro Max and an improved refresh rate with ProMotion. This was kind of the main thing I was waiting on to get on the iPhone, together with split screen, as this has long been available on Android phones. But Apple is of course forgiven, because when they actually do something, they do it better. And they do it better with an adaptive refresh rate that matches your use to save battery life. So hopefully that split screen is coming next. It came with 3 12 megapixel back cameras and an option for macro photography. A glitch that was noticed straight away was the switching of the lenses to macro mode when moving close to a subject without an option to switch back. This has quickly been fixed by Apple with a software update. So now it switches back to the normal lens automatically when you move away from the subject. Another huge upgrade was the camera with a cinematic mode and option for ProRes. I've made a separate video on how to get the most out of your iPhone 13 Pro Max video camera, detailing all these options. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll get notified when it comes up. A lot of creators weren't as enthusiastic about the cinematic mode and were quick to focus on what it couldn't do, but I was really excited. And staying within its limitations, I had a lot of fun with it. Yes, you do have to keep in mind what kind of background you use on your subject and make sure it's nice and contrasty to make it easier for the AI to separate the background. And you can only shoot 1080p and not 4K. But not having to worry about focusing and being able to choose what to focus on in post was such a nice experience and made me very excited to see where the technology is taking us. And for those of us who like to grade our footage, there is ProRes. If you're a filmmaker, you will love this, because you have a lot more details to work with 4K being only available for the 256GB versions and higher, and only 1080p on the 126GB models. For those that don't know if that's a big deal, on a phone you won't be able to see a difference between 4K and 1080p. But in post you have more room to zoom in with a 4K image without losing resolution than you would with a 1080p shot. Thanks to the larger aperture, this camera also performs better in low light. These camera upgrades are the reason why the camera bump is a bit large and the phone itself is slightly wider than the previous model. Also, the phone is noticeably heavier. I have to say that I personally prefer the weight of the 12 Pro Max. I switch around between the two during the day, and when I pick up the 12, the lightweight feels like a pleasant surprise. Definitely not enough to keep me away from the 13, but it's something that I do notice. Combining these video capabilities together with a video editing program like, for example, LumaFusion or even iMovie, makes this device a perfect tool for social media content creation. Also, on the photography side, you can have a lot of fun with this phone. The before mentioned macro lens is something I didn't know I needed, but it turns out to be the lens I use most often when taking pictures. You can take pictures as close as 2 centimeters, and just so much fun to be able to take pictures so close up of everything around you. I also enjoyed using this macro lens for videos, but there was a hiccup that you might want to be aware of. The lens doesn't automatically switch to macro mode if you're shooting in 4K at 60 frames per second. At this mode you have to switch manually to the ultra wide lens to shoot macro videos. And as for ProMotion, I've been using this phone side to side with my iPhone 12 Pro Max as my work phone, and I do notice some difference, but it's not as noticeable as I expected it to be. Yes, the screen on the iPhone 13 Pro Max is definitely brighter and snappier, but the difference is not that noticeable that when I go back to the 12 that it feels like it's a completely out of date phone. As for the battery life, I was already impressed with the previous iPhone 12 Pro Max, but I was even more impressed with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I usually charge once every 2 days. One important factor that makes this phone future-proof is its A15 Bionic chip. Apple claims that this chip is 50% faster than its competition. In any case, it has been working flawlessly. I haven't experienced any hiccups and everything just works fast and smooth. This is the same chip as the regular iPhone 14, so it's safe to say that it will last at least another 5 years, maybe even longer. So, in conclusion, is it still worth it? My honest answer would be definitely yes. Even now, it is still one of the best mobile phones out there. Unless you absolutely need and want the best of the best, the newest of the newest, then you actually already know who you are and you know that you're gonna buy it anyway. For the rest of the buyers, if you want an impressive device and want to save a couple of $100, then the iPhone 13 Pro Max is definitely worth it. If you enjoyed this video about the iPhone, then you'll love my next video where I'll show you in depth how to use every camera mode on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you'll get notified when it comes up. And then I'll see you in the next one.